Hey guys, welcome back to Church Talk. We're talking about everything involving the local church. My name is Rob. Have you ever wondered why church leaders experience burnout? Maybe you're there right now. Well, I have a few thoughts on why we experience burnout and a few ideas to maybe help prevent it. Most of us in small churches, we see a need and fill it. I believe this is one reason that we experience burnout. We are trying to do everything. We see a need for a children's worker, we volunteer. We see a need for a cleaner, we volunteer. There are opportunities for outreach, we join in. And these are all good things. But what can happen is we get so involved and so busy that we're doing a lot and we get tired. And before we know it, it's like we're just tired, weary, I need a break. And sometimes that break is an extended period of time. And I know the Lord can and He will. He'll anoint you for those times where you have to do it because nobody else is doing it. But what can happen is it can be difficult to lead that position with joy because you see it as a job that you're doing and not something that you're fulfilling. And I think this is why we need to build in breaks into our ministries. And many times we see a need, we feel it, we dive into that ministry and find out, I love this. This is my calling. This is what I feel like I'm supposed to do. And that's awesome when that happens. You found you're doing it with joy. You have, because you saw a need and you filled it, then you found where you can operate in your calling there. In that case, you don't want to break. You don't want to break in your schedule. And then when you're not doing that, you miss it. You want to be there. But when you're operating out of a need, you've got to build in breaks into your volunteers' schedules. And another thing I feel that is really important is to allow other people to fulfill that need as well. Allow other people who feel a calling in that area to fill it. And you can begin to step back a little bit, especially if you're operating from a place of necessity, you're operating from a place of need. Sometimes what we can do is grab a hold of that thing and say that it's ours, and we want to be the whatever it is. And so we grab it and we own it only because it needs to be done, not because the Lord's placed it on our heart to be the leader in this thing or to do this certain thing. And then somebody comes along that's called to do it, but we've got a hold of it, not allowing anybody else to fulfill their calling in their life. And I'm not saying that we need to step away, or at least not at the moment. But I remember a time when I was a youth pastor that I was involved in everything coming and going. If something was happening at the church, we were there, no matter what it was. I was on the worship team, and I was the youth pastor, and if there was a cleanup for a dinner, I was there helping clean. I was there helping with whatever I could help with. And one day I noticed, as I was helping and I was vacuuming and sweeping and things of that nature, there was people standing around who was wanting to help, but they didn't have any jobs to do. They were all filled. And here I am doing everything that I can possibly do. And the Lord just revealed to me in that moment that you're doing something that I've brought other people into the ministry to do. You need to step to the side and let them serve. And so that's what I done. And so what I remember what I done that day was I stopped, I put the vacuum up, or just set it up. I didn't put it away, just set it up. And I went and talked to a few of the people that was just standing around and just in conversation. I didn't go tell them to do something. I just went and began to talk to them, stopped the work that I was doing, and asked them, in the conversation, if they'd like to help out in any way. And they're like, yeah, that's why I'm here. I want to be involved. I want to help do this. I'm like, oh, awesome. I was just vacuuming up. If you want to do the vacuuming, I'll go I don't remember what I said I was going to do, but I'll go elsewhere, and I gave them the job that I was doing, and so they were able to be fulfilled. They wanted to help, and some people say like, well, Rob, that's just cleanup work. Yeah, but they were there to help. If we send them away and they don't get to help, then the next time when you're needing help, they're not going to be around because you didn't let them help in the simple things. So I learned that day that I don't have to do everything. Now, that's not to say that we don't do things like clean up or whatever. I'm just saying that sometimes you have to step back and let other people do things, even if they don't do it the same way that you do it. Just like in ministry, if somebody does something in a different method than what you do, it's okay. Let them do things their way. If it's working, let them do it. We don't have to do everything. We show up to help with something, help with say a food bank giveaway or something like that, and we show up to help. And a lot of people show up to help. What do? We might be there and see that there's needs. We jump in and do it. But as people come in, like, what can I do? Here, do this. Give them the job that you were already doing, and then you go find something else to do. As a leader, and sometimes that something else to do is just going around talking to people and being there as a pastor, as a leader of the church, talking with people who are there, maybe the people that you're feeding, or the people that's receiving whatever is going on, or whatever. But you let people do the things that they would like to do, as far as those type of jobs. So when this happens, we can begin to step back a little bit and not be involved in everything coming and going. With us, we are currently, we're worship pastors, and there are some things in the church that we don't get too involved in. Not saying we're not involved, but there are other people who are handling it and taking care of it. Now, is that saying that we won't be involved when there's help needed? Absolutely not. We should be there and help. But when there's enough people to take care of what's happening, it's healthy for us to say, we don't have to do everything. We need to take a little bit of time and just rest and relax so that we can operate in our calling and allow somebody else to operate in their calling as well. So this is something that when you're operating in a calling, you don't want to break. You serve with joy and gladness, and when you're in necessity, it's like, this has to be done. If I don't do it, who else is going to mentality? And we get tired with it. We get maybe aggravated with people a little easier, and we're not finding joy in it. And I know the Lord can anoint you in those times, and there are those times to where you find your calling from saying yes to the need. And I'm not saying to not say yes to a need when there's nobody else there to do it. But when people begin to show up, allow them to do those other things to where you can operate in your calling. And as the ministry grows, as more people come together, then you don't have to do everything. In a lot of small churches, the pastors do it all. They mow the yard. They clean the church. They set the sound. They set up the camera. They lead the worship. They preach the sermon. And they're tired and they need help. And as the church begins to grow, and then you bring in a worship leader, and then you bring in a worship team, and then you get a youth pastor, and you get a tech team, and whatever the case is, you begin to grow that ministry. The same thing goes for each individual ministry, is that you need to grow those smaller ministries to where you, as the leader of that specific ministry, aren't doing everything. You need to be able to lead from a place of your calling, and allow other people to come up beside of you and help you fulfill that calling the Lord has on your life and the Lord has on that church for what you're doing. Hope that makes sense. I said it in my mind here, and when it come out, it didn't sound like it made as much sense as what it made in my head. But so in your church and in your ministry, how are you operating? Are you operating out of the need, or are you operating out of your calling? And it's okay for both of them. If you're operating out of necessity, build in some breaks, build in some times to where you can just go to church and just be in church with everybody and not be working. But if you're operating out of your calling, then allow other people in those places where you are doing everything and you're helping in all these other places, allow other people to do that and focus on the thing that you're called to do. Now, I'm not saying don't help. Don't get me wrong. You need to help out. But when you see that there's plenty of people and you see that the Lord's brought people together to do something, we as leaders, we don't have to be there for everything coming and going. We can step back and let those other people lead that specific thing that's going on, and we can focus on the thing that the Lord's called us to. That's the point of this video, is when you're leading from a place of calling, you can be focused on what the Lord's called you to do, and you can allow the other people who are doing the same as you, but in a different area, to be focused on what the Lord's called them to do. And then when you guys come together as the body, everybody has their callings that they're doing, and it all fits together. I hope this video was a help to somebody. Hopefully you got some value out of it. And if so, make sure you hit the like button. If you haven't already subscribe, hit the bell, and so you can be notified when I upload new videos. And we'll see you guys next time on Church Talk. God bless.